Hey guys, my name is Brian Lee and welcome back to another exciting tutorial here in Photoshop. In the following tutorial, I'm going to take a 3/4 view of a bed, commonly found in stores like West Elm or restorative hardware, and then manipulate it into a profile view. If you get stuck along the way, have a new idea for a tutorial, or just want to show your support, I would love to hear from you in the comments section below. By the way, the 3D room used in this tutorial was created by the Living Room Design Kit, a downloadable template made for designers. If you're looking for a shortcut to make beautiful rooms in Photoshop, check out our new design kit, now available on the Design Cure's website. It's made specifically for designers who want to spend less time on building rooms and more time on designing them. So to get started, I'll drag the .png file from my desktop directly into my Photoshop interface. You'll see that my image has no background. For a review on how to remove backgrounds from product images, check out Lesson 6, where I go over a few methods of how this is done. Now, having this bed as a 3/4 angle is great if for some reason we didn't need to put it into a orientation of a 3D style board. But here at the Design Cure, we make 3D style boards to impress our clients. So we'll need to know how to take this 3/4 view and adjust its perspective to fit in any custom room that our job demands. So just like we did in the previous tutorials, I'm going to go ahead and take my product image and I'm going to hold Alt and drag it down. That's going to duplicate it. Just to stay safe, we'll hold on to that. I'm going to turn its visibility off. And then to get started, we just need to start looking at this as a three-dimensional object. So let's talk about planar surfaces. When thinking about a piece of furniture in 3D, its geometry can be broken down and described in three simple access points: X, Y, and Z. In this case, since we are putting this bed into a profile view, we can look at the entire bedside as being on the X axis. We can look at the front of the bed stretching along the Z axis, and the Y axis is any part that is extending vertically. Thinking of a piece of furniture in this way will really help you to decide which parts of your furniture will need to be segmented and manipulated separately from the others. The goal is to create as few segments as possible to save time and keep things simple. So I'm going to start segmenting the X-axis part off, which is the side of the bed. So I'm going to hit my marquee tool, and I'm just going to start grabbing certain pieces here that are along the X-axis. And then I'm going to switch to my lasso tool, hit L, and let's go ahead and just grab some of this stuff. Notice how I'm not grabbing the that panel, because that would be on the Z axis. And let's go ahead and grab the side of this pillow as well. Might help us out. When working with new geometry, new types of beds, it's hard to say what's going to end up working and what's not. Obviously, the more practice you put in, the better idea you're going to have right off the bat of what segments you need to make. So there we have the side of the bed selected. So let's go ahead and hit Command J to put that on its own layer. And then I'm going to segment out the Z axis. So again, that's this piece facing forward. And let's just make this easy. Grab these pieces here, the front of the pillows. All right, so now let's just grab the front. All right, so that's basically the parts of the bed that are looking towards the Z axis. So we'll hit Command J again. And that's all right. That's looking pretty good. You know, we have a few little holes here. but we'll go ahead and take care of those in the future. So right now, let's just keep it very simple. We're going to hold on just to these two pieces. But first, let's go ahead and group these together. So let's go ahead and now scale these down to be approximately the size of the end result. It's a pretty decent sized bed, so that might be all right there. You know, maybe it's crossing over the window slightly. Okay, so now that we have both of those about the same size, we'll go ahead and turn off the Z-axis and just work with one of these at a time. So with my left bed selected, my left side of the bed selected, I'm going to hit Command T. What I want to do is adjust the bottom and top of the bed so that they're going laterally along the floor. So I'm going to do that by hitting right-clicking and going to Perspective. And I'm just going to squeeze this right side down until it's pretty much lined up to the floorboards. You could also use your rulers as guides for this. You can do that by hitting Command R, and that'll bring up your rulers. And then you can just drag down from the top there, and something like that. And if you don't want to see those anymore, you can just hit Command H, which will hide extras. All right, so that's looking pretty cool. Now, what we're going to do now is lengthen the bed out to the size it needs to be. Now, if we were just to go and hit Command T and then stretch it, it would look pretty weird. So we don't want to do that. We need to segment out the side of the bed just a little bit more. So I'm going to hit M, the marquee tool, and I don't want to do that just yet. I want to select this little small piece here, and you'll see why in a second. Trying not to get the dark area at all. And I'm going to hit Command J to get that on its own layer. And then I'm going to segment out this piece here, the foot of the bed. Command J once again. And let's see if that'll be enough for us. So I'm going to just guess about approximately how deep this bed goes. Maybe say somewhere around there. And then I'm going to delete the original. D. And then I'm going to take this piece that I made there, and that's the part that we're going to be stretching. So I'm going to stretch that out. And so now we've kept the integrity of the fold in the bed sheet and the size and scale of the foot. And so we're only left with this bit of a problem right there along the top edge of the bed that we can now try to fill in. So I can see right here that I have a little bit of that top color going on. So I'm going to try to replicate that and drag that from this piece over. So I'm going to hit Command T with that selection made and just drag it this way until it connects. Okay, I have this strange top piece left, so I'm going to try to get rid of that. Just leave the light color. I think that's a piece from the fold of the blanket we don't want. So I'll remove that from there. Command D to deselect. So that's looking pretty cool. We have a couple little issues like this hard line here and some strange stuff going on around the fold. But in general, I think it's looking pretty cool. And we'll come back and fix those in a little bit. So for now, since we're going to start dealing with the Z now, the Z axis. And so to do that, I want to have my guides open, because we're going to start putting the Z axis into perspective. So I'm going to toggle on my Z, and let's go ahead and turn off and group my side. Command G to group. So my side is there. I just want to turn that off for now. And I just need to segment out this Z axis a little bit, because these two pieces are going to move a little separately from each other, and we might not even need this front piece depending on the perspective. So I'm going to hit Command J to get that on its own layer. And then I'm just going to delete the original from the back of the bed. There we go. So let's turn off the foot of the bed a little for now. And now let's go ahead and turn on my side bed. And let's get this thing into perspective. So I'm going to hit Command T, squeeze that in. And already that's looking kind of cool. So we just need to make a small adjustment. Right now I'm trying to just guess on how deep, how wide this bed is. Looking at its orientation with the window back there. I think that's looking pretty cool. And then we'll just squeeze it down just a touch to put it into perspective using the green lines as a guide. I think that's looking pretty cool. All right, we're almost there. And I don't think we really need to deal with the foot of this bed right now. So I'm just gonna keep that around in case I need it later. But I think that's definitely looking believable. So we have our side on the x-axis, we have our front on the z-axis, and you can see we have this little hole in here. So let's see what we can do to fix that. I'm going to look at my original again and just see what was going on back there so we can try to replicate that. It looks like this this part of the bed goes a little bit deeper into the back, so let's see if we can stretch that just slightly to fill the gap. Where is it? There it is. Again, I'm going to hold M, or click M, grab the selection, and I'm just going to try to see if I can get away with stretching it without causing too much damage. So there we go. I am going to right click, go to warp, and this is one of the new tools, or at least the first time I've been using it here on these tutorials. The warp tool is great when you're dealing with organic shapes like this bed. You can really build a lot of cool stuff with it. So I made a little bit of a mistake by overcompensating here on this corner. So I'm going to show you another tool that's going to help me fix that. And that tool is called the stamp tool. If I hit S, I get this the stamp tool selected. And if I hold Alt, I can target a certain area and then click that area and then let go of Alt, and then I can just use that area to paint in and over the area that I want the surface to match. So you can see that a little crosshair comes up, and when I'm painting, it's telling me the approximate placing of what I'm painting, if that makes any sense at all. Alright, so that's looking pretty cool. So I think we filled that gap pretty well, and we just have this bit of an issue right there that I'm going to delete from this layer. From this point on, it's just about going in and cleaning up. So I have my eraser tool selected. If I hit the number 5, it's going to take my opacity down to 50. And that works for all the keys. You can hit 1 for 10%, 2 for 20, and so on. So if I hit 5, that's going to take my opacity of my eraser down so that it's not so powerful. And then let's clean up this edge here. And I'm going to do that by, again, just erasing. Hit E for eraser. And I just want to do it ever so softly. And make sure you have a very soft brush chosen for your eraser when you're doing this kind of erasing. So you'll see that kind of caused a problem. So I'm going to take my piece here, hit Command T, and just stretch it out a little bit more. Hopefully that's going to look better. Great. So that's looking cool. Let's do a little bit more fine tuning. I'm going to turn that bed off. I'm going to turn these guides off so we can start seeing the final result here. Right now, I don't think I need these extra layers to be separate or segmented anymore. I'm going to select them and right click, go to merge layers. Now I'll have that entire part of the bed in one layer. Command plus, or you can use the magnifying tool to zoom in there. And again, I'm just going to select a small section here. Maybe deselect some of that. I just want to smooth this area out a little bit. So again, I'm using the warp tool. I just want to make it look like it's folding. Zoom in a little bit more. I'm just going to lay it down a little bit. Command D. Maybe take some of this bed. Command T. Warp that up a little bit to meet it. All right. And, you know, it depends on how much time you guys want to put into this. I mean, the client can get the point here, but if you have a little extra time, it's nice to polish it up a little bit more. So the pillows are looking a little funky. I'm going to see if I can fix that a little bit by deleting the one associated with this side panel. And I'm going to select this one that is associated with the front panel along the x-axis. And hit Command J and stretch that pillow out a little bit more. Warp tool again. Cool. And then I'll hit Command, or I'm just going to hold Alt and drag up again. That'll duplicate that pillow. Put it behind the other pillow. Scale it down slightly. And hit E to erase some of this excess garbage up here. This one has a little excess stuff on it too. Cool. So I'm kind of liking the look of that, guys. Let's look at the original. Command T, scale that down. So I think we're pretty close here. I think a client would definitely get the idea. So that's basically how we do a profile view. Keep in mind we do have a downloadable template available on the Design Cures website, built for all levels of Photoshop experience. It's filled with everything you need to quickly build custom rooms at the click of a button. Spend less time building rooms and more time on design. Again, be sure to subscribe to the channel and receive new tutorials every week that will help you master Photoshop for interior design. Thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you next time.